Hello everyone, this is Lying Figure, and we're back here playing today Silent Hill Origins once again. And when I ended the part, I was trying to leave this door. Unfortunately, I find out the door is locked, so we will have to go out a different way, which thankfully there is a different way, which is the exit, which should be right over there. So if we're lucky, it should be to our right. Yep, here we go. Now it's unlocked. Okay, so what are we to do now? Well, we were told that Lisa is heading to meet Dr. Kaufman. Let me turn down my volume here. Lisa is heading to meet Dr. Kaufman at the Cedar Grove Sanitarium, and being we really have nowhere else to do, and not much else to do, or see, we will just be heading over there as well. Why Lisa didn't let me come with is beyond me, but we will get there nonetheless. So this is the back entrance to the hospital, or maybe exit, I guess would be a better term. Let's see. Let's go ahead and change our outfit here. So this is a butcher outfit. I don't really like it though. Let's switch to cartographer. That's fine, I guess. We'll run with this for a little while. So anyways, we're gonna head over to the Cedar Grove Sanitarium, and there is where Travis's story will start. There's a straitjacket. You can tell from its movement that it's very different from the lying figure. The lying figure hobbles and it clicks, and then when you knock it on the ground it scrolls around like a little pest. Whereas the straitjacket doesn't do that so much. It's a bit more aggressive, and it seems more directly angry than the lying figure. Oh, goodness gracious. Let's see if we can switch our... I'm struggling to use the D-pad properly. Is this the scalpel? We got him. Can I step on him? I can't step on him. Huh. I can't seem to step on him. That's very strange. Ooh, there you can see his booty. And it's a male butt this time. It's not just a sexy girl butt like the lying figure has. Let me go through this gate. Oh, it's trying to show me the health drink on the other side. I thought I saw some stuff over here. Yeah, there's a police car and what looks to be an energy drink. The energy drinks, I wasn't sure on their function last time, but apparently what the energy drink does is it will... Let's switch to the baton here. Oh, let's use the scalpel. The energy drinks increase Travis's stamina, which is pretty useful, I guess. You can run out pretty quickly in this game, and it affects you more than... Oh goodness. Let's see what our map has to say. So, it looks like we can go behind Town Hall, and we want to go to the sanitarium, which is... somewhere. I probably went over it and missed it already. We'll find it. So there's the church, apartment building, interstate, butcher shop. Huh. I don't see it anywhere. Thankfully I kinda know where we need to go anyways. So, we'll just explore for a little while. We should be fine. Ooh, wooden plank. Jagged wood. So we'll just do some good old fashioned Silent Hill exploration. Run through the foggy streets. See where we can and can't go. This road's all ripped up, of course. Travis really has some low stamina. It's disappointing. Oh, is that an item? There's a crowbar here. Oh, it's a meat hook. Excuse me. Big house. If memory serves correctly, where we want to go is by the butcher's shop. Yeah, there it is. And you can see the street ahead of us is called Borden Street, of course referring to Lizzie Borden. Let's try town. Oh, that's completely blocked off. But there is a health drink here. So we'll go. Must be left. Yeah. Left of this street. This is really disappointing. Travis' stamina is dog shit. Oh well. Thankfully he can regenerate it while he kind of hobbles / runs. So as you can see, this is a butcher shop. The door is kind of open. But essentially all roads and places will be closed off until you go to the butcher's shop. Let me switch to software mode there. Let's save our game. Okay. Ooh, a health drink. There's a big hunk of meat here. Just some meat. There's a meat hook coming out of this hunk of meat. Nothing inside. There's some sort of sound coming from inside of here. So there we have the first instance of us seeing the enemy known as the Butcher. And the Butcher, as you could probably decipher from that cutscene, is basically a Pyramid Head knockoff. I won't talk about him too much here, but I can show a picture. And let's look at this nurse. This is awful. She's been cut almost in half. So you notice that he put the sword, whatever he has, through her abdomen and then pulled down through her legs, kind of hinting again at some sort of violent sexuality, much like Pyramid Head has. And although it's not really confirmed anywhere that he is, like how Pyramid Head and Valtiel are essentially two sides of the same coin. They're the same demon spirit of the town in a lot of ways. It's never really confirmed or talked about the Butcher being Pyramid Head. I'm pretty sure he's essentially a completely different creature. And he represents a few things, but we need to get further in the story before we can talk about that too much. Oh, we're outside again. Switch back to hardware mode. So I do remember this from my first playthrough a while back, as you do need to go through the butcher shop so that you can get through this alleyway. Which means we can go explore the town a bit more. There's a an enemy over here. I can hear. Straitjacket. The nurses don't populate the town, it's only the straitjackets. For some reason. There's a note on the car. She's asleep now. Someone wrote on the ticket. I'm not sure what that means, really. Something to do with Alessa, I'm sure. But we can keep looking around. Let's take a gander at our map. So we are on Toluca Avenue. And... oh, there's the Cedar Grove Sanitarium. So it's all the way over there. We should head there. First I'm going to check the street. Oh, it's completely torn up. Alright, so we're just going to head straight to the sanitarium. We're not going to miss too much. There's a few items in a few different places. Like that little gate that had a health drink behind it. If we run all the way back up there, we can get through. Not really get through, but come from the other side of the gate, since we went around a few big road tears. But it's not really worth it. We have more than enough health drinks, and I'm barely hurt, if at all. Let me check the map again. Alright, it'll just be to our left. And up here. Cedar Grove Sanitarium. Poor Travis. He has no stamina at all. Let's check the yard of the sanitarium. I know there's some items here. Like this target pistol ammo. That will come in handy. And I'm sure there's a health drink out here somewhere, but I'm not going to scour the whole yard looking for it. So I think I was starting to mention it earlier, but I got derailed by an enemy or something. But this is the point in the game where we start to learn more about... it's less about the town and it becomes more about Travis, which I like a lot. Let's just check this other side. No items. Okay. So into the sanitarium. And I'm guessing now we'll have to switch back to software mode. Yep. It's a little bit broken still, but no big deal. Let's just leave the place. These controls, man. I feel like I can read that book, but I can't. How unfortunate. There's a door here, blocking it. There's a book, nothing of interest. Fair enough. Picture of a guy. Oh, there we go. Let's check this area again, now that all the textures loaded in, to make sure we didn't miss anything. Nope, nothing. Okay. This door is still broken. And here's the big picture. Interesting. Broken. Locked from the other side. And this one opens up. And I don't have a map for this area, unfortunately. Well, that's no big deal. Ooh, that's a creepy image. There's some light coming in from the windows, and there looks to be a doll in a wheelchair. Let's go take a look. Ooh, the doll has a gun. Excellent. Looks to be some sort of gun. There's a safe or some sort of box here. Oh, it's just a filing cabinet. It's the world's smallest filing cabinet. I'll probably use it to beat in some mentally ill people's heads. Yep. But it doesn't look like there's much else in here. Yeah, nothing. Check these doors. Female wing. Okay. And in here, ooh, a map. Excellent. This is just what we needed. So the sanitarium is a pretty big area. If I remember correctly, it's probably the biggest area in the game. There's a few later that are pretty big, but there's actually not that many levels in this game. I won't spoil what they are, but this is probably the biggest. Status report. March 12th, 1960. Patient Mrs. Redacted, age 34, examining doctor Dr. Harris. Notes. Patient continues to harbor strong fantasies and a violent persecution complex. Her moods can swing from calm to violent aggression in a short time, which has led to her being moved to the seclusion wing. She becomes particularly violent during the occasional visits from her husband, demanding that she be allowed to see their child. We have taken the precautionary steps of adding epilinium to Mrs. Blank medication to prevent her violent outbursts. I don't like having to sedate patients, but when she is aggressive, she is as much of a danger to herself as to her visiting husband and the staff. Who could that be about? I'm not sure. Actually, I do know, so I am sure, but I can't spoil it. A wheelchair. Never needed to use one of these myself. Fair enough, Travis. So I believe this... Oh.
You were at the fire. I saw you there.
Of course you did. That was my house, burning. My daughter, Alessa. You were the one who saved her.
Yeah. She was your daughter? Why did you leave her? Why did no one help? You all left that girl to burn.
So we did. The world is stranger than you think.
You're crazy. What happened to her? Lisa said she was dead.
Alessa is with those who care for her. Do not trust her, Travis. She does not know what she is doing.
How do you know my name? Hey, answer me. They're all crazy.
So there we continue the long Silent Hill tradition of random people in random abandoned places walking up to you, telling you some stuff about stuff that you very vaguely know about, and then walking off. I appreciate that Travis at least has the sound mind, the soundness of mind to say they're all crazy, as opposed to James or Harry. They don't really comment much on it. Heather does though. She's pretty snarky. And that woman, of course, would be Dahlia, since Alessa was her daughter. That is Dahlia. Why she's wandering around the abandoned mental hospital, completely unprepared with no flashlight, is anyone's guess, really. She's a pretty crazy woman, I suppose. I'm not going to check out this room just yet. I want to check out the rest of the floor here, because those are stairs that will take me down. So let's check everything. There's an eerie silence here as well. The main lobby has a nice, relaxing, cool drum track, but this is just silent. Found a tire iron. Ooh, some target pistol ammo. I don't have time to read all these. A screwdriver. I don't know how Travis is carrying all of this. I mean, this is... the first time I played through this game, I never like I remember I never thought about just how many weapons we're picking up. Although I only had Silent Hill 2 to contrast it, and I was so young, I didn't really think about those kinds of things. Locked from the other side. So it looks like all we can do is head downstairs. Or upstairs, I suppose. It doesn't have to be one or the other. Although I generally like to go in a grid pattern, and generally grid patterns start from the bottom and move up, so we will head downstairs. Unless, of course, it is blocked off. Nope, it's not. A lot of games do that. Survival horror or otherwise, if you try and go the wrong direction on the stairs, they cover the whole thing up with random junk. Which is alright. It's just another form of invisible wall, though. Except it's visible. Here's the basement. It's locked. Okay. Well, my mistake for thinking I could go down there. How foolish of me. So, we'll just have to head upstairs. Travis can really run pretty quick. He runs up the stairs like a madman. He cleared that whole, 2 staircases in 3 seconds flat. It's impressive. My radio's going off, so there must be an enemy here. Yep, there is. Now this right here is called the Remnant. It's an enemy that is only in the Cedar Grove Sanitarium, I believe. And it's a little floating, not really sure what the little metal contraption is. But as you can see, it casts a whole human shadow. This could be maybe, how do I think of it? Oh, I'm getting beat up pretty bad. This could be maybe a headgear thing, like a dental thing. I really have no clue. I should heal really quickly. These things are pretty tough, I guess. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, I think you can't step on them, so you have to do extra damage. So as you saw, they're just little shadow things. And when you knock it down, it actually does seem to have some sort of form. It's still kind of a shadowy, translucent figure, but it seems to have some sort of dark form. And these enemies are called remnants, I think I mentioned that. And they are kind of interesting for a few reasons. The first one is their symbolism, actually pretty vague, what it is exactly, or not vague, but lacking in much depth. Essentially, they represent 2 things. The fear of the unknown, which is sort of a given. Everyone's scared of what they don't know about. And then the patients of the mental hospital. They're kind of the ghosts of the patients here. And Travis has a lot of internal issues with mental hospitals and the patients within them for family reasons, which we will get to fairly soon. But suffice to say, these patients would scare him greatly. And there's an interesting fan theory, which is, I don't know if there's much to it, but if you remember, there's an enemy in Silent Hill 1 called the Larval Stalker. There's a few different versions. One is very friendly and doesn't do anything to you, and one is a very hostile shadow version, which beats you up later in the game. It's a little child black shadow thing that attacks you. And in that game, the Larval Stalkers represented the bullies and the people who would beat up on Alessa, and how they're kind of faceless and how everybody's doing it. They're shadows of people, essentially, projected by Alessa. And a lot of people speculate that these are, in a way, a mirroring of that to being the grown-up members of the cult who are abusing Alessa, and they are the grown-up version of the Larval Stalker. In a way, they're like the adult version, despite this taking place before Silent Hill 1. It's an interesting theory. I mean, I'm sure that's the basis for their idea and their design, as far as from the game designers, because this game does have quite a few designs that it takes and borrows from other games. The straitjacket is the lying figure, nurses, of course, and this, and there's a few others. The butcher. Anyways, interesting enemy. Not amazingly great. It's not one of the best Silent Hill enemies, but it is worth talking about at least. Let's take out a... Let's use the jagged wood, because it sounds like there's an enemy in here. Oh, it's a nurse. Much easier to deal with. We'll just clobber her and stomp on her. For some reason I can't stomp on her. I'll just punch her in the back of the head till she passes out. There we go. So these bottles, looks like I can grab them. And this is some sort of storage room, it looks like. Another wheelchair here. Corroded wall. And looks like nothing else. Huh. Let's use our alcohol bottles. We have a few of them. Let's take a look. Yep, so it was a little storage room. And let's check the rest of this side of the floor before we head into the main lobby area. Oh, it's broken. Which means all we can do is go to the staff lounge in the lobby over here. What is this? Oh, it's some kind of hose. Broken, and this door will open. Yep. And this area I remember quite clearly from when I first played the game. For some reason, I don't really know why, but I always remember this area. And beat up on these ladies. There we go. And let's try this door. Nope. So something, just a minor thing to point out, but the nurses here seem to... I can't step on her. That's so weird. I don't think it's a glitch though. It's just something weird about the damage mechanics of this game. But these nurses, they are not just like bloody or noticeably brown or dirty like in the other games, but they seem to be green. They have a green hue to them and some green rot on them. And what that means exactly, nobody really is sure. It's probably just a visual choice. I don't think it has much significance. But the difference is definitely worthy of note. This is a big barrier. We'll just run past this nurse. If we kill too many enemies, we'll get the bad ending. And I don't really want to do that. It's actually a pretty interesting ending, but I'd rather get the good ending. Here we have a note. Out of use. In light of the recent accident, I am barring the use of the iron lung equipment that supplies to all staff, including senior nurses. Patient deaths during therapy are not to be treated lightly. I find it hard to believe that someone could accidentally overload every valve on the equipment. There's something funny about a mental hospital and just therapy, and somehow somebody is so mean that they would overload an iron lung. Like if someone's in an iron lung, literally just turn it off or take them out and they will die, but you to intentionally overload every valve just to kill the person is just insane. I find it hard to believe that someone could accidentally overload every valve on the equipment, and so, until the inquiry has concluded, I must assume the equipment itself is at fault. These precautions are essential. We owe a duty of care to all of our patients, even the difficult ones. Dr. Harris. Looks like a control panel for the iron lung. Take a look. Yes. There's a few different buttons here. Oh no. So there is a puzzle here. But I believe what you have to do is you have to get all of these dials into the red. And if you do that, then you pass the puzzle. So let's try and figure that out. So let's do 1, 2. So 2 moves, 1 and 3 had 2. 3 moves. Okay, so it just seems like moving this one will move these 2. Moving any other will move the one before it and then the one after it, and so on until the last one. Then it just moves that and the previous. So let's take a minute and figure this out. And now that we did that, we want a later one. So now this is about at the max. And we need to move this one. And this needs to go just a little further. These need to go, I think, 2 more. So we'll try this. And then the first one. Excellent. Something spat out of the iron lung. What is it? It is a key. I got the basement key. Awesome. I remember struggling with that puzzle profusely before when I first played. But I don't even remember how old I was. I was probably like 11 or 12. So, excellent. I'm glad we could do that. Looks like this hasn't been used in a long time. Man, the overloading the valves of the iron lung. That's just so cruel. Like, you're literally trying to pop someone's lungs. You could literally just turn it off. It's almost comically cruel. Even for Silent Hill. That's just funny. Let's try this wing of the hospital. The male wing. It's blocked off. I believe we spend the majority of our time in the female wing of the hospital for a few different reasons. Or not a few, for just one, actually, now that I think of it. And that reason will become more evident as we go on. But we got the basement key, so no reason to just hang around here. Considering we tried all the doors, we will run all the way back to the basement. Which... oh, I think it's just back here is the stairway door. Yeah, okay. Cool. We are on the right track, it would seem. So let's save our game. We're doing pretty well. Looks like there's some kind of visual glitch at the top of the save screen when I'm in software mode. Oh well. It doesn't show up in normal gameplay, so no big deal. I use the basement key. There's nothing good in an abandoned mental hospital basement. That was a creepy little visual we just got. Let's take out a scalpel. That will be our next new enemy. I don't particularly want to go through here now that I think of it. Sorry, I'm moving the mic. I want to go chase down the monster we just saw. And he ran down this way. There he is. This enemy is called the Carrion, and I find it very creepy. Wow, that was a good hit. Thankfully these enemies, once you get around them or behind them, are very easy to take down. They do take a lot of damage though. Thankfully, it seems I'm exploiting the game a little bit, because he was down and I was still punching him. Oh, he hit me. Let's try and get around him. Thankfully, due to his disability, he has a very difficult time turning around. I'm just punching him right up his ass. Ooh, look at that booty. Step on him. Oh, he's dead. Okay, so the Carrion is... It's essentially, it looks like some sort of cow or calf or something like that that has a... It's some sort of animal that walks on 4 legs, but the front 2 legs are broken and its neck is broken, so it's dragging along. And it's just pushing on its very shaky, very withered back legs, and it's just dragging on the ground. And this has a few meanings. One is it's relevant to the butcher and how, you know, the cattle go to the slaughter, and that makes more sense when you take into account a few things that we haven't covered yet. But there is also the theory that it represents Travis being a trucker in his life and how he will hit animals and make roadkill and so on. Although I don't think that, you know, hitting a squirrel crossing the road, well, it would suck and I'd definitely feel bad. I don't think it would be one of my major life's gripes enough to create a Silent Hill monster out of it. And also, if you hit a cow, your truck is fucked. Maybe not fucked, but it's gonna get some damage on it, and you're gonna get some damage. Anyways, we'll cover more of that later on when we cover some more things in the story. This game is like the good old classic Silent Hill games where it's hard not to spoil too much. Things make more sense as you go along. This is a creepy image, but we'll just run around the straitjacket. Looks rusted shut. And what is this exactly? Is this some sort of... It's just a big hallway. Looks like a sewage store of sorts. Like a sewage line. It looks so dirty and grimy. There's a staircase here. A razor and a health drink. Handy items. Let's take out the straight razor. I wouldn't want to be attacked with a straight razor. They are notoriously sharp objects. I would be scared to even get a shave with a straight razor, honestly. They are sharp. So this looks like it goes up to the 2nd floor. I might as well check it out now. I'll break my grid pattern rule right here, because I don't think there's much to see up here. I'm guessing this is the female wing. Yep. It does look like there's a lot to see. We'll come back here. I don't think there's actually much left in the basement, now that I think of it. So, we will go ahead and finish running through the big, grimy basement hallways. Okay. Is this a note here? Looks like there's a note on here, but I don't think we can read it. Yeah. Just an old rusty box. Can't read that. Oh, someone's blocking this door. You will have to traverse around the straitjacket once again. Excuse... Whoa! That was nonsensical. He was looking the other way, but somehow he wrapped his legs around our waist and sprayed some stuff in our face. That was very strange. Wait, what the? Did I just run the wrong way? I'm fucking retarded. Pardon my French. That was stupid of me. You know, it's easy to lose your direction. These straitjackets are always trying to make you lose your way. Ryuko's worst enemy is a straitjacket. And down this hallway, there is creepy basement stuff. Broken door. And this door will open, thankfully. And we're at another set of stairs, very short this time. Nothing over here. I think there might have been stairs, though. Looks like a sewage outflow. All the sewage from the pipes drains down here. Stinks to high heaven. I can imagine. So the camera angle change here makes it seem like we should do something right here. Use an item, but I don't think we have an item for this. Now let me check my inventory to be absolutely positive of that. Let's change our outfit. Let's use the collector outfit. I don't know what that looks like, but we're gonna go with it. Yeah, I don't see any items we can use. We'll heal up. That looks okay. It's a sweatshirt. Well, this isn't a staircase. Well, we will have to make sure we remember the east pipe room in case we find any objects that could be used with a sewage outflow that stinks to high heaven. For now, we will just have to head straight down here and go in the hallway we were in earlier, but we chose to turn around to follow the carry-on. That's not an item. So this game actually looked really good on the PSP. I remember I would get in the closet. I'm not a homosexual, but I would spend a lot of time in the closet. I would get a blanket and a pillow, and I would crawl into the closet with a PSP and put it in my earbuds and play it. So even during the day, it would be dark in the closet. It was pretty nice. It was a scary game, of course. I do remember one time going to get Chinese food and riding in the car and playing it during a thunderstorm. My dad and I rode all the way across town. I can't see anything of interest, judging by the dust on these things. I'm not the only one. That's pretty good. That's alright riding. This is something that I've been meaning to talk about, but I missed it in the hospital. Because you can go from... this... Just watch. Travis just reaches inside of his jacket and pulls this out. The IV drip stand. And not only that, he doesn't even hold it like a bat. He doesn't even use two hands. He just walks. This game... A lot of people, including myself, generally think that Silent Hill 4 has the funniest stuff, but Silent Hill Origins has stuff like this that is hilarious. There's a few remnants there. You can see him coming down the hall. That's very creepy. And this image, I think, is kind of important right here. Because it's creepy, there's some floating things and shadows down a dirty hallway. But the framing and the camera and the lighting itself is, from a technical standpoint, it's good, but when you compare it to Silent Hill 2 or Silent Hill 3, it's just missing that magic, that little essence that made Silent Hill 1 through 4, especially 1 through 3, really that good. And not to say that Silent Hill Origins isn't a good game, because it's a pretty good game. It's just, it's not a masterpiece. It's missing that magical essence of Silent Hill. like, this is creepy, but it's not really inspired. At least I would say. You can disagree with me if you want, though. I really don't care. Let's check out the boiler room. Never mind, we won't. We got enough boiler room in Silent Hill 1 with the split head. We'll just run past those remnants very easily. And grab some pistol ammo. Ooh, there's an energy drink too. Cool. And we can't go through here. So, this means the only place we can go will be up those stairs to the second floor that we found earlier. But now we know, when we find an item on the second floor, come back to the sewage outflow and use it there. If it seems appropriate, that is. Oh, the door's broken here. There's something I really like. This, pretty sure I went the wrong way. Yeah. Something I like about survival horror in general is just the fixed camera angles, especially of earlier games. Really, they help a lot, and not just telling the story, but in directing the flow of gameplay. I think I touched on it before, but in my Silent Hill 2 playthrough, but when you get so close to a certain object of importance, the camera angle will change to indicate to you that this is different from the rest of the environment. No matter how well it blends in, it's different. And it's a facet of the character turns their head to look at an item you can pick up. It's a facet of that in that it's a non-immersion breaking way to point out to a player that they should go somewhere. Gabe Newell, the designer of Half-Life and Half-Life 2, or maybe not designer, but head project guy, he talks about it a lot, or he has in the past, about how if you're not sure how to get a player to go somewhere or look at something or do something, which is actually much harder than it seems to get them to do those things, you shine a light at it, or you make it brighter, you shine a light. Now, in a dream world, designers would take this piece of advice and have something in the environment that shines a light on it. But bad designers, like the people who designed Silent Hill Homecoming, just made the objects themselves have a golden glow and have them give off a light, which I admit is effective in a lot of ways, but it completely breaks your immersion. It reminds you every time you see an item that you can pick up, every time you see a health drink, you remember, oh yeah, I'm playing a video game. Oh yeah, this isn't real. Oh yeah, I shouldn't be too involved. And it's really upsetting. There's a mirror here that we can use, but I want to check out the rest of the floor to our left before I switch worlds. But yeah, I really appreciate the camera angles in survival horror, because it reminds you of what you should do and what you should take note of over other objects and over other items in the environment without making it stick out too much or making it break the immersion. I really appreciate smart game design like that. It's excellent. I've been playing the game. Let's check out this hydrotherapy bath. It must be broken because the water is boiling. There's a key at the bottom, but there's no way I can reach it without scalding myself. He says he holds a 6-foot drip stand that he could dip into the water. Drainage control here. Should I press the button? Yes. And the key will go down the drain. Okay. Well, I'm going to take a wild guess and say that, as I've been talking about, the reason the camera angle changed on the sewage outflow is to emphasize it so that we remember it at this moment, so we can head back down there and grab the key that will no doubt be stuck in the drain. First, let's check all this stuff out. Yep, all this is broken, which means we can either use the mirror or we can head down and get the key. And at this point, I think we should get the key, because I'm sure it's to a door that will be in the other world. At least if the key we got in the hospital is any measure. Anyways, I was saying, I've been playing the game Fear recently. First Encounter Assault Recon, but it's just called Fear. It's a clever, fun with acronyms way of reminding you that it's a horror game. And Fear is a really good game. It was made by Monolith Studios, who made Condemned and No One Lives Forever 1 and 2, which are just excellent games. Most recently, I think they made Shadow of Mordor, Middle-earth, which I haven't played, but I hear is pretty good. And they didn't get to make much stuff for a long time, unfortunately. But anyways, Fear is really good. It's the only gripe I have with it is that the horror elements are really not that scary. It takes a lot from Japanese horror. I mean, the main character is, not the main character, but the main antagonist, scary lady, is a little Japanese girl with black hair over her head and a pale face. I went the wrong way again. And it's a good game, and I actually want to play it for the channel sometime, even just for a little bit, because it has a lot of technical components to it that I think are really worth talking about. Because that game really has... it's kind of overrated. I mean, a lot of people kind of jerk themselves off over how smart they feel, thinking that Fear has the best AI ever. And Fear has great AI. The enemies are very intelligent, but it wasn't really something they were programmed to do. It's called emergent behavior. And essentially the very simple programming they had caused them to do things that the developers didn't expect. And that's really cool, but the actual scary elements of Fear stinks to high heaven. Huh, there's no key here. That's strange. I really thought there would be. Well, I guess we're gonna have to head down to the other world. Or head to the mirror and use the other world. My bad. Let's check our map to make sure we know where we're going. So, it'll be the staircase up here. Yep. Straight ahead and to the right. So anyways, it's a good game, and I like to play it. It does a lot of things technically very well. The way it draws shadows and the way it does its lighting in general. It actually looks pretty realistic, especially because it came out in 2005. The particle effects it uses, the sparks when you shoot, and it has a bullet time element, which is one of the best in games. Max Payne and Fear are probably the best uses of bullet time in video games you could imagine. And as I was saying, my only gripe with Fear is the horror elements, is that it's a horror game, and that's what sets it apart from other shooters, which I can appreciate, and I do like the elements, and I'm not even going to complain about jump scares. I mean, it's mostly jump scares. My issue is that even with the jump scares, the design is pretty bad of a lot of the scares. After your second or third time, you'll start to pick up on exactly what's going on, which is you open a door, turn a corner, and then you find a dimly lit long hallway, which you then walk down, and as you walk it either gets longer or shorter and expects you to turn around, at which point, ooh, there's a doll here with some pistol ammo, at which point you will turn, some ghosts will fly at you, and you will get a jump scare from either a little girl or a ghost of someone that you knew. And it's just really not that scary after the first few times. There's a few really clever ones, like when you get on a ladder, the animation causes you to turn around and start crawling down. And I like how you will, the animation, you will turn around and a little girl will appear staring at you as you crawl down, and she's just inches from your face. Or you're crawling through air vents, as one is wont to do throughout many first-person shooters. and a little girl will be crawling through the vents just ahead of you. And I really appreciate the more clever playing on video game tropes and, common video game things. You don't really expect something like that to be happening. But when it's the long stretching bloody hallway, it gets really tiring. It stops being scary. Where in the world am I going? Looks like I have to head downstairs now that we're in the other world. And this other world is kind of interesting. It's not a complete blood and rust overworld, but it's very dirty. It's very brown. And it's it's more along the lines of Silent Hill 2, as far as it looks more water damaged and disgusting than it looks like a blood and rust Silent Hill 1 or 3 overworld, or otherworld, I should say. Which I like. I just wish it wasn't all, brown and shades of green. Sorry while I readjust here. So I believe this door was locked before. Yes, it was. Now that we're in the other world, we can go on the first floor. In the female ward. There's a strange depression carved into the door. Looking at it makes my head feel numb. Fair enough. Door here, but it's broken. Or something's blocking it. There's a door directly behind us over here. Broken. And up here, a few more on the left side.
I've always hated you! You and your devil son!
Oh God, Helen! My dear Helen! You really are dead! What will I do?
Huh. What could that be? Some sort of flashback? Something isn't quite right. There's a woman screaming, "My devil son," and then some guy talking about his dear wife Helen and how she's dead. Of course, being that she was there screaming, it can be assumed that he means her personality or the woman he married is dead and not her actually being dead. Interesting. A health drink. And more pistol ammo. And we are in the female dorm. What is a matron? I know what a matriarch is and what maternity is, but I've never heard of a room called a matron. There's a mirror here. The stall is covered by barbed wire. Must be a real stinker in there. And over here, looks like some sort of showers. There's a kitchen knife in the shower. Perhaps foreshadowing Silent Hill Downpour. Although I don't want to spoil that just yet. I don't know if I'll play Downpour. I mean, I'm sure I will at some point, but it's only on PS3 and 360. And although it's dirt cheap and I have a PS3, I'd have to get all sorts of capture equipment and set everything up just to play it. And I don't know if that's worth it, especially if it's a pretty shit game. That's not shit, it's mediocre. It's not as good as Origins, and Origins is like a 7 out of 10, or 6 out of 10. So, Homecoming is a 1 out of 10, though. Homecoming I will gladly play, for humiliation's sake, because of what it did to the franchise. And by way of that, what it did to me. Looks like there's nothing to do except for use this mirror. So we'll look ahead into the mirror. Travis will reach out his hand gingerly. Now we're in a much more clean world. I like the mirror here, it's very good. Silent Hill has a good tradition of mirrors, although I believe in Homecoming there are either no mirrors or it does that really lazy, pixelated, very blurry mirror thing. That's my least favorite of all. Bring me my son. That's pretty creepy. Bring me my son. So, appears that this being a women's shower, that there's a woman who is locked in here, being crazy, of course, and she had a son that she wanted to see. And here's the barbed wire toilet room, and it looks to be filled with vomit or something. I can't walk in correctly. There we go. The toilet looks blocked. There's a metal ringing in the pipe. It sounds like something is stuck. Should I flush it? Yes. The toilet has been flushed. The ringing noise has stopped. Anything that was stuck in there has been flushed down through the system. So I'm guessing that means that now the key that came from the hydro bath has ended up in the sewage outflow, like I was hoping to get earlier, but unfortunately it didn't happen. So now we're in the real world, or a fog world I should say, and we can check out all these rooms. Oh, we can go through here. I didn't expect that. We should explore the rest of this area first though.